What is going on, guys? This is Daniel, and today I will be breaking down the Portland Trail Blazers 10th ranked offense, and I hadn't really made any Blazers videos, so I thought I'd take a look at their offense, so let's get to it. Let's first talk about pick and roll, specifically the effect of LaMarcus Aldridge. Watch how he can set the screen and roll to the basket, and here he finishes. Aldridge can also pick and pop for long jumpers. I'm not a huge fan of this, but he is certainly good at this shot. Even when Aldridge isn't scoring, his effect is drastic, as here two players go to trap him off of a screen and roll, so he nicely moves the ball, and this gets Wesley Matthews an open floater. Here's an important pick and roll concept. On this screen and roll, Kaman will roll to the basket, and Aldridge will come behind him to the top, filling in for him, and this is important because it brings his defender, Chris Bosh, out with him, out of the lane, freeing up the Kaman roll with little weak side help, and here Kaman gets it inside, he just can't finish. On this screen and roll, Bosh will hedge high, so Matthews simply passes it to Kaman, and they can go high-low to Aldridge, who set the screen and is rolling to the basket, and again Aldridge is open because Bosh hedged and is now trailing the play, and Kaman connects with Aldridge, he just can't convert. Again, a screen and roll, Miami hedges so they go high-low, and Aldridge gets an open jumper. I'll get more into set plays later, but here's one where Damian Lillard will Ucla Cuts off of Kaman. Kaman will then set a ball screen, and you can see that high-low option is a viable open option. Aldridge doesn't pass it to Kaman here, and that triggers a Damian Lillard screen and roll as he comes back on top. They don't get a good shot here though, as Aldridge has to take a contested jumper. Once more, the play with the Ucla cut, and you can see how Lillard is open on this Ucla cut if Batum passed it to him. No worries as they continue with the play. They try to go high-low there, but the ball gets deflected. But notice how they are still in the flow of things and get Lillard an open jumper, which he misses, but Kaman puts it back in. The dangers of hedging screen and rolls, folks. Birdman hedges, so Lillard could pass it to Batum, who could go high-low to a rolling Kaman, but here Lillard simply drives in and then finds Kaman. It's just that simple. Definite. Let's talk about spacing, and on this screen and roll, notice how well the three perimeter shooters are spaced, allowing Lillard to attack, and Kaman gets the tip-in. Again, outstanding spacing on this screen and roll, this time by Steve, Blake, and Batum, and this gets Batum an easy drive toward the middle and a floater. On both of these dribble drives, just flat out fantastic spacing. It is very difficult to defend well-spaced teams. Notice how the two shooters are nowhere near each other, and Darrell Wright hits a corner three. The Blazers run a lot of plays involving zipper cuts, which is a straight cut away from the basket, and this is a play trying to get Wesley Matthews an open three off a flare screen. Here Matthews doesn't have the shot, but they can go into Aldridge in the post and he can score. The most common NBA play involving a zipper cut is a zipper cut into a screen and roll, and here the Blazers execute it and get a corner three. Here's a variation as CJ McCollum will zipper cut and then immediately receive a flare screen, but the Heat switch nicely, things stall, and they are forced into a tough jumper. Same flare screen play for McCollum, but this time Lillard takes it into his own hands and simply pulls up for three. Here's a play where Allen Crabbe will zipper cut, but he is just the decoy here as they are really setting up a pin down for Wesley Matthews, who hits a three. The Blazers will set a back screen for Aldridge to get good post position, which he does, and he draws a foul. They are setting up a pin down for Lillard here, but the Blazers players are taught to backdoor cut if they feel they are being overplayed, which Lillard does here, and he gets an alley-oop. First watch this play all the way through, and afterward I'll explain why I was not a fan of this play design. So the first action in this play is to try to get Wright open for a 3 off this flare screen. but flare screens really only work when the defender's head is turned, preoccupied with actions going on the strong side. On this play, Chris Bosh, who's defending right, is already preoccupied with right because he had to deal with that weird pitchback thing with no reward possible. So the flare screen does not work, and even if right tries to curl it all the way to the basket, Cayman's man can simply block the passing lane. The second action of this play is a ball screen for Lillard, but Cayman is setting the ball screen in pretty much the same spot he set the flare screen, making it very easy for the sagging big man to contain the drive, and they force a contested shot. Here's pretty much the same play except without the pitchback, and Miami is in good position to contain, but Birdman comes a bit too high, which allows the pass to Leonard on the roll, though he can't finish. Here they'll run a flex set for Aldridge as he'll set the cross screen, then receive a down screen to the top, but I'm not a huge fan of running Aldridge off down screens, and here they turn it over. Here's a flex screen the screener set out of the offensive set horns, but Thomas Robinson messes things up by shooting. The Blazers run a great play called Hawk, where a guard will UCLA cut to the basket, then receive a double staggered screen on the weak side, all while there is a pick and roll going on the strong side, and here Wesley Matthews pops on this screen and roll and gets an open three. The UCLA cut is a legitimate option, and here Matthews is open, but Steve Blake doesn't get it to him. The double staggered screen isn't open, so the ball goes to Cayman, who attacks but can't finish. But this is my favorite play of them all. A shooter will set an on-ball screen, then receive a flare screen, getting an open three. The Blazers here run this play before the defense is even set, and when that happens, it's not fair. It's an automatic open three every single time. And this time, Lillard uses the play as a decoy to take it himself and draw a foul. Want to know what I'm not a fan of though? This. End of quarter, they're going for the last shot. They can run a pick and roll, a set play, but instead they go to a very stagnant isolation. I don't care how good Lillard is, this is an inefficient play, and he drives and gets a shot blocked. Briefly, let's talk about post-ups, and here when Batum passes it into Aldridge, notice how he cuts around him, gets it back and draws a foul. And just let your jaw drop in admiration as on this post-up, look at the spacing. A man in the corner, free throw line extended, on top, and the opposite big man on the opposite block, making it very easy for Aldridge to draw a foul. Notice on this play, Aldridge is being fronted in the post, so one option Steve Blake has is to use both of them as a screen and drive around them and get a good shot inside. Well, there you have it guys. The one thing that stood out to me the most was their consistent, excellent spacing. That, along with their execution of high-low, was very impressive to me. Thanks for watching and see you next time.